Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'm going to detail several backdoor situations in Oak Park. Now, over the last decade, Oak Park rose to fame with several rappers coming from the area, like Mazi, Sugar Gang Coney, and B.O.E. Sosa, among several others. But Oak Park history goes back further than rapping, and also the streets. In the 1900s, Oak Park was a culturally thriving neighborhood and was originally home to many white Americans. The area was well developed and prosperous due to many businesses in the area. However, Oak Park was never able to fully recover due to the effects of the Great Depression. Combined by discrimination practices, like many cities, Oak Park also experienced redlining, which segregated many neighborhoods by race. Many black families later started to move to Oak Park, and their presence started to act of resistance with the white people in the area. They began moving to buy houses elsewhere, which also made the property value go down and diminish. By the 1960s, Interstate Freeway Expansion Program physically divided many historic Sacramento neighborhoods like Oak Park. This also created isolated areas of poverty, and Oak Park's sense of community started to decline in the early 60s as a result of the freeway expansion. This also made property values decline, and families moved out to suburban communities, now because it was easily accessible by the freeway expansion. By the 60s, Oak Park black residents began a sense of identity, with the Sacramento chapter of the Black Panther Party being founded in the late 60s. The Sacramento Black Panthers created more than 35 survival and educational programs to support black people, children, elderly, and the low-income communities. They provided food, clothes, transportation, health clinics, adult education, legal aid, and much more. One of the most successful programs was the free breakfast offered to more than 20,000 school children each morning nationwide. Despite the growth, the Sacramento chapter was soon to be forced down by law enforcement, including Sacramento Police Department. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office raided the Black Panthers building in Oak Park on Father's Day of 1969, ending the Black Panther Party in Sacramento. 70s without structure, Oak Park's community would start to take a turn in a negative way. It became more crime-ridden and poverty-stricken, and by the 80s, the drug trade would take over America, and Oak Park would be deeply affected. Crack would have devastating effects on Oak Park, and with the boom in the open market, many different Southern California gang members would expand out to different cities and other states, leading to the city of Sacramento being influenced by Crips and Bloods from Southern California, and many gangs taking on the Blood and Crip identity in Sacramento by the 80s. Oak Park would become a fully established Blood gang and a well-respected deadly gang in Sacramento in the 80s on up. Since the 80s, Oak Park would go to war with several gangs, and this would cause decades of bloodshed for them and their rivals. They will also pick up new enemies along the years and become more deadlier. Oak Park will gain more rivals, which I've talked about multiple times in previous SAC episodes, and if you haven't already, check those episodes out. But outside of gaining a lot of rivals, dumb dudes in Oak Park would start making different crews with cliques in the 2000s, and with the rap scene, it became more and more crews in Oak Park. By 2013, Oak Park rapper Mazi, who already been rapping for several years, began to get attention with his diss songs aimed at Oak Park rivals. He had the whole Oak Park behind him, and his career would take off within the next few years. Mazi had several rappers from his hood follow his blueprint, from homies his age to younger homies. Several rappers and crews would pop up all over Oak Park, like Shooter Gang, Murder Gang, B.O.E., Red Paint, and a whole list of other crews in Oak Park. With Mazi being the biggest rapper in Oak Park, he would give these crews cosigns and even do songs with several up-and-coming rappers from his neighborhood, like with Shooter Gang. Mazi would collab on a few songs with rappers from Shooter Gang like Sugar Gang Coney, and Mazi could be seen in Shooter Gang videos. Mazi was the biggest rapper in SAC of the newer generation, since SAC hadn't had a rapper as big as him since Sibo and Brother Lynch in the 90s. So all throughout SAC, many rappers were trying to make it, and Oak Park had Shooter Gang Coney doing numbers as well as people like Shooter Gang JoJo and Uzi Marcus among others. So at a point, Oak Park had an abundance of rappers on the rise, but behind the scenes along the years, things would stop being unified and division between the crews would start. Shooter Gang and Mazi Camp would engage in a beef that had Oak Park splitting up and picking sides. It was said that Mazi and Shooter Gang Coney would get into an altercation, which led to Coney getting jumped by the Mazi Camp, and Coney would have his jury taken. To the media, this would go under the radar for a while, and many people wouldn't know what was brewing behind the scenes because nobody would bring it up, but the separation was obvious with both sides not being seen together anymore, and even in interviews, they was giving dry responses when asked about each other.
Working with Mazi or start wearing the Mazy Chain, when did that conversation happen?
Probably like 18. I think I got my shit out like 18. Like that, he had gave me the chain for sure, and like But other than that, like we ain't worked hella, you feel me? I think we got like two, 3 songs or something, 2 songs. But yeah, I just got the chain and then what it was.
Okay, but you didn't sign to him?
Nah, I never signed.
But you guys didn't really like move around that much. You just did a couple songs and it didn't really...
Yeah, I had went on tour with Dog, like, you feel me, like 2 times. But that was like the first time I went on tour, and I wasn't even like really a rapper yet.
Oh. Did you guys sort of fall out at a certain point, or did you stop kicking at a certain point, or?
I ain't really know like Fallout Blood, you know, growing, doing their own thing.
I feel it. Yeah, it's interesting because I'm like having a hard time. Like I'm looking through YouTube titles and I can't really tell like what is actually real stuff and which ones are just trying to clickbait me into believing that everybody has problems with each other.
And about bruh doing this thing, he dissing Mazi. But like, do you still keep that relationship cool? Like, cause I see you still following me and you still do his thing. Are you trying to kind of keep it on the level ground and have peace there, or what?
You know when you got you a homie and you got 2 brothers, you at their house and they start fighting. Best thing for you to do is just let them do their shit and chill out. You don't get in the way. Just chill out and just let them do their shit. I ain't got nothing. That ain't my business. I'm from.
With more things going on behind the scenes, death will become a common theme, and not just dying from the hands of rivals. Many would suspect backdoor activity. A well-loved member of Oak Park named K Squeeze would die in June of 2020, and his death will be celebrated by his rivals. But the thing is, many people would think he was set up by his own hood. K Squeeze had a close relationship with Mazi and his crew, but before his death, it looked like he took the shooter gang side in the beef. Many people would think K Squeeze's own brother, also a rapper named Bust Down Bandy, but also went by Bishop, set K Squeeze up, and it's been a rumor for years. Bishop still hangs with Mazi Camp, and even at K Squeeze's funeral, it's rumors that he got jumped for what people thinking him being involved in his own brother's death. More and more death will follow, and people believe it was from division in Oak Park, not from rival gangs. Another rap crew would start to emerge, called Red Paint, and they was also on the shooter gang side. They would have several rappers repping their camp, like Born Stunner 3G, and also a few other rappers like Red Paint Mava. He was known for being a street dude and having a deadly reputation, and he was known for being disrespectful to his enemies. But in September of 2021, Mava will be shot and killed at a house party in South Sac.
Reports of a shooting just after 11:20 last night. Officers located 2 adult males who had been shot. Both were transported to area hospitals where one unfortunately later died, and that's all the information they're telling us at this point.
The house party was full of Oak Park members, and many people believe since it was in Fruit Ridge where he was killed, which is an area in South Sac, that a rival gang had to kill him. But it would later come out that it was a possible backdoor situation, with many people from his own hood wanting Mava dead. By 2022, Mazi and Coney took their beef to record, dissing each other in songs and dissing each other's sides. And chains on both sides will be took and exposed on social media, and a lot of Instagram beef will follow. In 2023, shooter gang VJ, who was dissed by Mazi and heavily involved in the beef, will be shot and killed in Texas, which will throw many people off, with them wondering how did he die. Some people speculate a backdoor situation to get him killed, but some just say it was an isolated situation.
Deputies got here, they found a 25-year-old man dead after being shot multiple times in a driveway. All they know at this point is that there were 2 men arguing before one of them pulled out a gun and shot the other.
In 2024, just a few weeks back, a Mazi affiliate named Guru Mazi will be killed. And not just killed, it was said he was kidnapped, tortured, and threw outside his mother's house. And he was found in a pair of Jordans on one foot, and in the other foot, a soccer cleat.
Investigation after a man was found in an alley this morning. Police said officers responded to the area of 32nd Street and V Street, an alley there in Oak Park, because of a man who was lying in the road. What they found was a 34-year-old man with significant trauma. First responders pronounced him dead at the scene. There are no specifics of exactly what the traumatic injuries are.
This would be another situation considered a backdoor, with Guru Mazi being rumored to be a part of a lot of things going on in Oak Park. The beef and division in Oak Park and the situations I mentioned is not even half what's going on, but the situations I mentioned was the most high profile. Off this, you can see this internal beef has been deadly. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.